Welcome to the Savvy Leader Podcast, the place for growth, learning, and inspiration for leaders just like you. I'm your host, Kristin Gallatin, and each week we will dive into the grit, grace, and gratitude it takes to become the savvy leader you were always meant to be. Okay, you guys, welcome to the Savvy Leader Podcast. I'm Kristin Gallatin. Today, I am joined by guest Mindee Peterson. She is the sales manager of MyTech Partners because in the month of January, we focus on sales, right? We get pretty revved up for the new year. We've got all these great goals and all these business strategies all lined up and we're pumped. Well, who better to hear from than sales managers and people in sales to learn the tips, the tricks, but most importantly, how they got to where they are. And Mindee is going to share all of that good stuff with us today. So, hey, Mindee, thank you so much for joining me. I cannot wait to hear more of your story. Tell us about you, how you found MyTech Partners, and this incredible journey you've been on.
Well, thank you, Kristin. I have known you for a couple years now and just so excited to be here and be able to talk about my journey and my leadership goals. So thank you. Thank you for doing what you're doing and highlighting these things. I think it's really important. So to answer your first question, I think it was, how did I get to MyTech Partners? So MyTech Partners is an IT consulting firm and managed service provider here in the Twin Cities. We serve small and mid-sized businesses. And at a very high level, we help drive the IT complexity out of their business so they can keep serving their clients and doing it well. I oversee the sales team in Minnesota. And it's very interesting, Kristin, because when I got hired, I had no technical background, right? And I was up against, I can't remember how many people I was up against, but I got the job because when the owner asked, we have senior reps on the team, what is your plan to come in and be successful with all these people that know basically more than you? And my answer was, I'll just have to learn from them. And that's the one question that got me to MyTech Partners. And I'm so glad. I'm having a really good time there. They're great. They're a great organization. They have great values, a very good culture. We're growing. My team is growing. So just really happy to be in the role I'm in, where I'm at. So that's the MyTech. That's how I got there. What was some of your other questions? Help me start the conversation. What are you curious about?
I'm curious about just the fact. So with IT consulting, I love that you shared that you really didn't know much about IT and it wasn't your strength. And you found a way, though, to shine in your interview and leave that impression. And it was your perception and your perspective, I should say, of the position and what you can learn and your ideas and your open-mindedness that got you there. With that said, certainly. So you're already in an industry that you're not super familiar with. And now here you are running a sales team, which is usually primarily male dominated. Share a little bit about what that's like to lead a team of men in sales in an industry that you probably are an expert in now, I bet. Because you've been there for a little while. So I'm sure you've gained some insights, but still you're here to do sales and it doesn't matter what industry you're in. Sales is sales.
Correct. I would say that, goodness, getting old and forgetful, that leading a team of mainly men in this role, by the time I got to MyTech, I think I was further along in my journey and career where it didn't affect me as much because I went into this role saying I didn't know IT. I named it. And they knew that. And they said, the role isn't, you'll learn IT. We need your manager skills. We need your energy. We need your strategy skills. So going into that, the groundwork was set. Like there wasn't any of that headbutting that was going on. So the men I was working with, like the stage was set. So it wasn't really any big problems. However, my past, I did. Like I ran into a lot of egos. I ran into a lot of headbutting. I beat out a lot of men. And then I noticed, not every male, so I'm not male bashing by any means, but I worked in organizations where like I tried to get, they were trying to trick me, or they were trying to take accounts from me, or they were trying to say, that kind of stuff was going on. And I knew it. And I was getting good. Like, that's how I would say it. Like, I would get good. And then all of a sudden, that account would get taken from me. And I'd be like, what is going on? And someone would come in and manipulate it and somehow get it away from me. So that's what I was experiencing probably 10 years ago. That kind of thing. Like, the more you spoke, I would have people steal my ideas and take them to another meeting. And then someone would come to me and say, you were just in a meeting and you said that. And now that person is saying it over there. So how I navigated that was I just couldn't believe it was happening. And then I just started writing things down. And then I just went to HR and I said, this is what's going on. I don't know how to deal with it, but I'll leave. Like, if this is the kind of culture that you want and the kind of sales team you're going to have in place, I tap out because I don't know how to fight that as a woman. I don't know if you've experienced that, but I just moved on in a culture that wasn't fitting. And I am very blessed to be where I'm at with MyTech because their culture doesn't allow for that. And so I just don't have that experience as much as I did in my past roles. So I think culture is a big fit. And I think it's really important as women, when you are looking for roles, you need to tap into what their culture is like, because if that culture isn't going to support you and then you're dealing with those kind of things, it just makes it even harder because sales is hard, leadership is hard. So I don't know if that brings some light to where I've kind of been and what I've come through. But yeah.
Absolutely. And I think about that. I mean, sales is sales and it can be a dog eat dog world.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm,
I'm with you and I can completely relate to the because I'm not a huge competitor, generally speaking. I
mhm.
like to do good work and I like to I like to do
Right.
work that's worthy of being,
Mhm,
in the
mhm,
spotlight. At the same time, I don't crave that.
mhm,
And I don't ever feel insecure about my position when I'm in a position like that.
mhm,
But some
mhm.
people do, and I think the way you handled it was perfect.
Yeah.
Like,
It.
you didn't let it get
Mhm,
to you.
mhm.
And the truth of the matter is the people who need to know already knew.
Right.
But
Right.
identifying that you're in an environment that didn't fit
Mhm,
the way
mhm,
your values and the way
mhm,
you like to go to business and how your work ethic,
mhm,
um,
mhm,
it's so important. So I'm so glad that you
mhm.
found a place that
Right.
you can feel like home. And you were just saying
Mhm,
before we hopped on that you're
mhm,
excited to go to work every day. And
mhm.
that's really saying
Yep.
something.
Mhm.
MyTech Partners has provided an incredible environment and atmosphere for you. And I'm sure that your energy and your values come into play with that too as a person in leadership.
Mhm.
Um, how long have you been with them?
I have been with them for almost 3 years
Okay.
now. So I've had turnover on my team. Um, Last year, I don't know, last year was tough. We had a lot of turnover on the sales team, which kind of led me with a small team that I had to rebuild. That was a huge experience for me as a sales leader to come into a role. I had to go back in the field. Everybody had to help, right? We have accounts. When you're in sales, you can't just let things go. I had to go back in the field. I had to hire, I had to train. Um, and it was panic. You have that panic moment like, okay, what am I going to do here? But we rebuilt and we've rebuilt this team and this engine that is strong as ever. I've had great leaders to help me through that. But that learning experience, we're like, okay, I can do this. And I think, when you say like women in sales, women in leaders, I think my biggest thing that I could share with people is I didn't have that victim mentality. Like, I didn't say, oh, it's because I'm a woman, or oh, it's because I don't have technical. I just had some goals. I believed I could do it. And don't get me wrong, like, I didn't have every day where I was, so excited to go to work and everything is going well. But I never believed that I couldn't do it because I wasn't a woman. And
Oh,
so
thank
maybe
you.
that's why
Thank you
maybe
so
that's why.
much for
Hmm.
saying that. Same here. When I was in my corporate gig, I never once thought about, you know, I'm getting paid less because I'm a woman, or I'm not getting the roles or the opportunities available because I'm a woman, or because I was, and at the time I was younger. I'm not as young now, but I was younger
Whatever. Yep.
then. But
You,
I
you
never
really
thought
did
about it
either.
like that.
Mhm. Me either. And even growing up, like when I was young, I was just always ambitious. I was meant for sales. I always knew I was meant for sales. I grew up on a lake and I walked down to the resort and I said, I know I'm only 14, but can you hire me? Because I really need money and I really am a good worker. And they hired me to rake the like the leaves out of the lake so that the beach would be ready for for the people that were coming in, the campers. And then they're like, well, you did a really good job. So we're going to like have you cook in the kitchen. And so then it led to that. And then I built the trust and I did a really good job. And then I cocktail waitressed, which if you've waitressed before, like the money and like the service and the ethic, like all that client experience from serving people has just really served me well. And it just continued on into my career. So, and it was all men, like that was all dealing with men, right?
Yeah.
Even in the server side, there's male managers, and they were good and bad, but I think you just learn from that, and you're ma- I'm very driven by the dollar. I'm very driven by building people, but I'm also very driven in results and the outcome to that. So where else would I be? I tried to do a stint a little bit in finance, and they were lovely, but when I left, they're like, we really like you, but you talk way too much. So sales is for you.
So
So
then, yes, sales is a place for you.
sales was a place for me. So just, all the thing, my whole life has just been sales, even growing up. So I think that's where my mindset comes from.
Wow.
But I do definitely think there's definitely bumps in the road, and um, you just get through them. I'm a
I love
mom,
it though. I
so
love that
having
young work ethic that you had, and just, look, I need to make
Mhm.
some money, damn it.
Exactly, damn it, like I need some money. We lived out in the country, so if I wanted nice stuff, I had to pay for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you
So
did.
that's just how it worked. That's
Yeah,
just
and you knew
how
that
it
you
worked.
could. You
Hmm.
knew that you had it
Hmm.
in you to provide for
Hmm.
yourself, or get the things
Hmm.
that you wanted based on your own,
Yeah,
you know, your
yeah,
abilities and
yeah,
abilities
yeah,
to do that.
yeah. And in this journey that I've been on, being a sales leader, like being a sales leader at MyTech has wanted me to be even a better, stronger leader. So I was telling you before we started, just going on this journey of what are my values, what are my strengths, what are the things that I know I do well that I can play on, and what are the things that I need to work on. And a lot of that was self-validation, being so driven and being very like go, go, go. I was an athlete. I was an athlete in college. So everything came with a win, right? Everything was validating, and it screwed me up a little bit into my career because I thought I needed that validation from an outsource. Like, oh, if I win, I get this. Where when it comes to leadership, you just need to trust yourself and you need to be your own person. So it did, like growing up, that did help me, but I had to take a minute and step back this year and really define who I was because I needed to just get self validation for myself. And it just really grounded me in my leadership. And like I was saying, when I come home at night, I don't have the ickies. I don't carry that emotion. I just leave it at work. That's my job. And this is who I am as a person, Mindee Peterson. So,
That's incredible. You have to share a little bit more about that. So, I
yep,
mean, I think a lot
absolutely.
of us spend time, reflecting on our style
Mhm,
and all the things that you just talked about. But how do
mhm.
you even begin? Like, where do you start when you want to
Yeah,
figure out who the hell you
yep.
are?
Okay, well, I'll just say this. As a mom, as a wife, as a sales leader, I was go, go, go. I wasn't paying attention. And I literally woke up one day and I'm like, I'm dead inside. Like I have no emotion. I don't have joy. Nothing feels like it used to feel. Like I remember looking some Christmases and I'm like, I should be happy right now. My kids are happy. We have presents under the tree, but I just feel nothing. And I got tired of it. And one day I was at work and my boss asked the leaders, what are your values? And I was like, I have no idea. Which I think I knew now that I look back. I just had never named it. I had never defined it. And no one answered. And then I was like, I don't know mine. Like was vulnerable. And then that really kicked me into high gear. I joined a collaborative called Wired, where you kind of walk through that journey of defining who you are, your mission statement. And some people think that's cheesy. It is exactly what I needed. I needed to take a break, figure out who Mindee Peterson was. And I met a group of 12 women who, again, high achieving VPs that were dead inside. Like nothing feels right. Why are we feeling this way? We have a bucket list of achievements and we look so good on paper, but internally, nothing is feeling good. So I started putting the work in there. And then I invested even more in myself. I got an executive coach and I joined a peer group. So I really went all in. I wanted to work with a coach that could help me define my leadership skills even more, as well as be a part of a peer group, which it's funny because the peer group I'm in is all men. So I always joke, like, where are the women? He's like, I don't know. When you find one, bring them into me. But that has been really supportive as well as that peer group piece. And just from there, by setting my values, knowing who I am, has just really, again, grounded me and brought back that joy and aligned me. During that journey, I met a woman by the name of Kate Ferry, and I will talk to her. She does Simply Become It. She was the same way. She was a corporate 500 Fortune company and just was like, this doesn't even feel good anymore. So she created a program called the 90-Day Self-Love Journey, which is a 90-day program where it prompts you every morning a question. And it starts off like, what triggers you? Or what do you remember when you were little? Like, what do you hang on to since when you were little? And that really kickstarted where I was like, why am I hanging on to what the guy that owned the cafe that said something rude to me at 14 is still following me today? Why am I doing that? So I like wrote letters to these people like that wasn't fair for you to do that to me. You know, you do things like that. You hear the things where people like write a letter to your younger self. You really should do that because when you say it out loud, you're like, why am I holding on to these things that you would never say to your 14-year-old self? So I went through that 90-day journey. Um, from that, like things have just exploded. I set some goals for myself. I am part of a book. So there'll be a book coming out in March for 12 women in the Twin Cities. Wrote a chapter. It talks about my journey and what I've gone through. So that is coming out. I started Mornings with Mindee, which is a women's networking group. I wanted to bring together women like me to have a space to talk like this. I need other women who are in these spaces, and it can be it's turned out to be any woman, but just to be able to relate to another person, to be like, I feel that too. Like I'm doing all these things, but I don't feel good about it. So I bring in these women who are high achieving. And I just say, like, how are you balancing all this, that personal and that professional um, lifestyle? And like the things these women say, I mean, I think you've been to a few of them where it's like so empowering. There's so much information. And when you can share those stories, there's so much strength in those stories. And a guiding light sometimes for some people to be like, oh, me too. But look I think we can get through that. So all those things just kind of happened in 2025. And it's just been a great year, but I had to put about a year's work in to define and it wasn't easy because it's like, well, I don't know what my values are. And so I worked with someone to help me talk through some of that stuff because I'm not the greatest with words. But once I got it down, now when things happen to me, I'm like, oh, that's because it's not aligned, or I'm not going to let that person's energy affect me like it used to. That's on them. This is me. So that journey was just really empowering. Lots of women in my network that supported me. Very thankful for that. You're one of them. I mean, I don't know how many times you and I have met where I'm like, I'm stuck. I kind of want to do this. What do you think of that? And you're just a good person and you gave feedback without judging. So I
Aw,
appreciate you.
thanks.
Mhm.
I feel so blessed to have you in my circle too. I'm really excited. And I have attended your mornings with Mindee, and it is enlightening and empowering. And it's a wonderful big room full of people that are there for the same reason. We're all just to learn and share
Mhm.
um and feel part of a community. To feel that
Mhm.
sense of belonging is
Mhm.
something that I've been trying to create even. I've
Mhm.
been struggling though because online. So as soon as I
Right.
figure that out,
I know. I know. I know it is. It's hard, but like once you start talking to people, now I have people that I have a lineup of people that are like, I want to share my story. I want to share, and I just don't have enough dates on the calendar to do that. But just the fact that there are women out there, and when you find the right ones that are willing to help you, support you, not judge you, that you know you can call, it's just you just go. Like it's just good. It's good to have that group circle.
yeah. And
Hmm.
I'm really inspired by your story as well, listening to all the hard work because it wasn't easy, like you said, to what the hell am I doing here? What the hell are my values and who am I?
Correct.
And I saw a
Hmm.
little, I think, sneak peeks throughout the year, some things that you were doing on social media that maybe
Hmm.
hinted at this
Yep.
transformation that you were going through. And I wholeheartedly agree that with every big transformation, it takes a full turn of the calendar. You might have heard me say that before. A full turn of
Hmm.
the calendar to actually get from point A to point B.
Hmm.
And then after you finally reached that destination where you feel like this
Yep.
is where you need to be, it's going to take
Hmm.
another year for you to actually start moving the chess pieces. I like to think of it
Right.
as like moving
Yeah.
things around to better align the things and start
Hmm.
envisioning you've got a direction and you've got this sense of forward
Hmm.
motion and on the right path. And I think I'm just so excited for you.
Yeah. Thank you. I know, and I would love to share this with you. So, big year coming off 2025. I also started like a little side business called Coal River Accents where I sell earrings because I believe that accessories can make you feel the best when the days you don't feel the best. Like, hey, just like throw on a pair of earrings with whatever you're wearing. And it represents like living your worth, not proving it. But I did all this. I did all this fun stuff. And then come January 1st, I was literally like no motivation. I was on this huge high. And then it took me like a week or two to even get motivation again. So I brought it to my peer group. I'm like, my peer group of women, I'm like, did you guys go through like what happens like when you're on this big high and then you go down? Like, did you guys feel that? And almost every woman in the room was like, yes, like you can't always be this high. You're gonna have some lows, and that's okay. So I'm now just kind of coming out of that and figuring out, like you said, it's a chess game. Like, now what? Now what are my goals? And now what am I gonna do with Mornings with Mindee? What am I gonna do with this book? What am I gonna do with this side hustle? With my job and leadership, and I don't want to overdo it so that I can't I don't want to do little good things for a lot of things. I want to be good at all the things I'm doing. So yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's a chess game. It's not a race, it's a journey. Um and it's my journey. So don't compare it to anybody else's.
Thanks for acknowledging the fact that there's down days too. You can't always be up
Mhm.
here, high energy, positivity,
Mhm.
because life is, we're human and life
Right.
goes on and things
Hmm.
happen. And I think the key is recognizing when you're in it,
Hmm.
and how you reflect on that. Like, why am
Hmm.
I here? And how can I make the most of this time now?
Hmm.
I'm not in this high energy, high profile position or, time season maybe. And I'm in a different place now. And how can I make the most of this? And what can I learn from this? I think it's so powerful to help you with that forward
Hmm.
trajectory. Um,
Agree. Agree.
Tell me a little bit about what shapes your approach to leading your team of sales folks.
Definitely. My approach is very transparent, and I really focus on trust. I've held many roles. I've worked in many companies. I've worked in many industries, and what I've learned through that is I do my best work when I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and I trust the person that's in charge. Um, and so that's what I lead with: trust, clarity, transparency, availability, and consistency. Like I said, like sales is this up and down, up and down. I need to come in every day and be consistent, help them so that they can move their needle forward and they can hit their goals. But just do the things, build the relationships with them because they need to do the work. I'm just there to move barriers and support them along the way. So there are my guiding principles for leading a team.
So great. And that I love that you said, I'm just here to remove the barriers.
Hmm.
And I also,
Because,
earlier, you mentioned that you were down in the trenches when you were rebuilding your team. And I
mhm,
think that says a lot too. I think that that
mhm,
speaks volumes to the people in your on your team of how much
mhm,
you're willing to support them and
mhm,
then the greater good. You're
yep,
willing to get down there and do what needs to get done because there's
mhm,
work to be done. And
mhm.
so you're not expecting them to do anything that you wouldn't do yourself, but
Correct.
removing those barriers, that's
Yes.
perfect. I love that mindset.
It is, and you've been in corporate and in sales. It's what always happens is if things can't get figured out, they just dump it to the salesperson. So my job is to ensure we just came off. So like you said, it's the new year in sales. I make all my team do a business strategy review so that they can put their plans in motion. We all know what they're striving for. And then what we really focus on right now in our team is say, okay, you just told me these are the things you need to do to reach your goal, to serve our clients, yada, yada, yada. When someone comes to you outside of these goals, now you know, is that a priority? Do I need to readjust? This is like how you protect your time and to help you prioritize and to help know when to pull me in. So that's what we're coming out of. January was really busy. We went through a lot of planning, a lot of quota building, a lot of strategies. So we are in a really, really good place. And I've hired everybody on my team. So I'm just in the training mode. So I'm almost done being player coach.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Was there someone or something that significantly changed your leadership style, or do you have some great
Mhm.
influences in in your journey that have been played a big part
Mhm.
of who you are?
I will confidently say the culture at MyTech has really changed what it means to be a leader because as a leader, I was an inside sales manager, I was a customer service manager, I was a product development manager. No one told me in my 20s and 30s, like my job is to just lead. I thought I had to do it. I thought I had to know everything, get in there and do everything. Coming into this role, it was very much just eye-opening because I was an individual contributor prior to going into this role. And it's no, your goal is to lead. Your goal is to hire, train, maintain, move barriers, and support. Now there's other things that we do as well, but that culture and that definition and how they think about leadership, I've never had that in a company before. But no one told me, and there's not a book. So just, I don't know. Maybe there is. I'm sure there's a ton of leadership books, but I wish I would have known it a lot younger. So I would say the leadership that I have at that company is very much what I've changed my thought process to. They have 12 values. If you ever go, it's crazy. The story is awesome, but there's so many values. And if I've said this on my last things, but if anybody that can say the 12 values, they carry around $100 bills, the owners do. So if you go up to them and can list all 12 off, you get $100. And all my new people that came in have done it, which makes me even like you're the right hire, right? What a great way to start off your career at MyTech. But we really live by those values. And when you live by those values and you have those bumpers, it really makes it easy to lead. It really does.
Oh, and it sounds
And
like
develop.
the other members of
Mhm.
your leadership team, or even the owners, are incredibly
Yep.
supportive of all of those
Hmm.
concepts and
Hmm.
keeping those values
Hmm.
top of mind
Hmm.
because that's the key, though. It's the key for your
Hmm.
team. It's the key for
Hmm.
all those things are, I mean,
Hmm.
it's that's the cornerstone of any great company,
It
I think.
is. It is. And like I said, I worked for all these companies and maybe I wasn't paying attention. Maybe I wasn't invested. So who knows? Like maybe like someone listening to this might call me and say, like, what are you talking about? We had that there, but I didn't get it or I didn't feel it. This is the first company where it aligns. It makes sense to me. So yeah.
That's so awesome.
Hmm.
Okay, so as a sales manager, you're running a team. You've talked a little bit about how you had to rebuild that team, hiring and being in the trenches. How in the hell did you get through all of that type of massive productivity and avoid burnout? How are you still happy to come to work every day?
Yes, that is a very good question. I think what really got me through that was definitely leadership, right? I had leaders that were there to support me versus blame me. And I did have a conversation with them, like, what did I do wrong? And they were like, you didn't do anything wrong. This is part of the gig. So what we need to, so then what I had to focus on is, okay, what's my 30, 60, 90-day plan? What's my quarter two plan? So I put that all in order. I worked with my direct leader. I shared that with him, got buy-in from him, and then I just worked the plan. So that was done. It was hard. Um, Everybody on my team knew what the plan was. They knew what their role was. I asked if they were all in and they were there to support. They were. And they've just been really great. So that kind of took care of that. And then in the same response, I was going through this value, like, what are my values? I'm now writing a book. Like, that was my creative outlet. So I think that's how I got through that, because I loved what I did here, but I was also doing this thing that was brand new that was helping me be a stronger, more grounded leader. And so now there were days where I'm like, I literally would take a day off. I'm like, I need a break. This is too much. I'm taking a personal day. And then I would just do, like, I would binge watch something. I just took a day off and then I got back to it. Is I think how I balance that. And just you just keep going. You just keep showing up every day. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be hard. I literally have a list of things I need to do, and I know I won't get all of those done, but these are the top three things I need to work on today. I think that's what got me through, and is still
Wow.
getting me through. Mm-hmm.
It's so straightforward and so well organized. So you're an
It is.
incredibly organized and
I
you're a
am
planner.
very much. I'm very, very much a planner. Very, very, like, from the moment I wake up until the moment I go to bed.
Oh,
And some
wow.
people will say that's unhealthy, but it works for me. I know when I need a break, I'll just take a day off or I'll just take a moment, but I'm pretty high energy. Go, go, go. Mm-hmm.
In looking at the way you described all of that and just kind of an overview or like on a high level, what I see is a woman who, yeah, you like got down in there in the trenches,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
you banked on your grit to get you through.
I
At the
did.
same time, you were able to focus and keep yourself grounded on your values and what was important to you
Mm-hmm.
because you had those other creative opportunities that kept
Mm-hmm.
your so I'm sure when you were out there, I mean, it's kind of a reprieve when you get to have that moment of
Mm-hmm.
when you're driving in the car or whatever the
Yes.
case may be, to
Yeah.
just reflect.
Yes. It's exactly when I reflect. I started doing that as well because work is hard. It's IT, it's complex, and I literally don't have that technical ground. And now I'm getting in front of clients and talking to them about that. So obviously I had support that would come in with me. I would handle most of the relationship side of things, but when I got home from work, and I don't know if anybody has done this, but I'm trying to learn AI. I'm trying to learn the tools that can support me. But my ChatGPT, I have a paid version, and I've worked out a way to reflect by talking into that so I can keep track of it and how I'm growing. So when I go home, there's like 10 questions that I have her ask me every day. And then when it came to the year end, I just went back and said, I want to hear what I mainly was struggling with. What were some of the things so that I can start building more? What can I look for in leadership to help me develop even stronger? So there's a little AI hack that I've been doing is keep track of that, do the paid version so that it's more protected. But I created my own checklist and then I dump all that feeling on the way home. So when I pull in my driveway, it's whatever I'm doing, sports or dinner or the next thing. So
Smart. I love
mhm.
that.
It's
What
very
a
helpful.
great
Hmm.
hack. Ah,
Yep.
so smart. Okay.
Hmm.
With that, now looking forward, what kinds of things are coming up for you and what excites you about the industry you're in? And I mean, you touched on
Hmm.
AI, so I don't know, tech,
Yeah.
AI, if that's something on the
Hmm.
horizon. What about you, though?
Definitely.
I want to hear about your
Mhm.
business that you're working at, and I want to hear about you. What's coming up?
All right. So me coming up, obviously this book is going to come out and that's going to be a big push to get that and promote that. I'm very excited to see what readers will think of that. We really want that to be bestseller. And there again is 12 women that wrote this book together. The journey was wonderful. So that excites me. Um, I am Mornings with Mindee is going to take a spin this year. We're developing it right now where we might not be on site. There might be podcasts. So that is in the works right now, and I'm hoping to have something out here in the next couple of weeks of what's going to be happening. I'm partnering with local businesses here in Blaine, where I have my earrings, where we can drive women to other women businesses that reflect health, reflect nutrition. So it's kind of like a pop-up shop where women like me that don't have a lot of time. I'm really at my age, I'm mostly important about my health, my rest, and doing really good in my leadership skills. So I just met with someone this morning where we're going to try to put together some sort of a pop-up where she can have her things and there's all this stuff going on. So that is exciting me. And honestly, I'm going to read like 6 books this year. That's another goal of mine because that helps me slow down and that helps me, um, rejuvenate. So those are the big goals. My kids are getting a little bit older and they're out of travel, so my weekends are open. That excites me tremendously. So, not that I
So
didn't love
great.
that era, but that era is done. And my husband and I actually have time to go do things versus sit in a gym. So excited.
That sounds fantastic. All
Yeah.
right. What about tech? What about MyTech Partners? What's in store for them? I know
Mhm.
they've had some growth you touched on, so share a little bit
Yep.
about that.
So MyTech Partners, we just had some growth. They had some acquisitions, and anytime what comes with acquisitions is growth is processes. Like everything's getting evaluated. We've brought in all these companies, and now we have to make sure we're all on the same page and we're all doing the same things to get to the same goal. I think this last year was bringing everybody into our systems, into our processes, and our tools. It's good growth. It's not a bad problem to have, but that's happened. And so now it's going to be how do we scale with all these branches across the country using that, how do we scale resources? I mean, there's two other sales managers that I work with. How can we tap into each other's strengths and weaknesses to build and grow our team? So I think it's just going to be a really strong year as we get as we just continue to grow. AI is going to be, talking to clients about AI and bringing the knowledge. And like I said, like I used it to do a leadership thing. There's so many things you can do with AI and sharing with our team, with our clients, with our prospects, with our network, the things that we do, because it's such a big thing. It's a lot of unknown yet. And we just have a really good pulse on some of the things that we can do to help our clients. So I would say we're pumped and primed for growth. When you kind of go through that like loss and you build and we're bringing all these companies in, like we've kind of gotten through that hard part. And now I can just see you can just see I won't see the end line because it's a journey, but it's going to be a good year.
It's going to be incredible for you and for
Mhm.
MyTech.
Yeah,
It sounds like
exactly.
you guys have the engine is just
The
revving up.
engine, correct. We've got the engines going again. So it will be good. But I think last year, I think, listening to my I think it was tough for a lot of people last year, all businesses and all industries. So hopefully
Yeah,
next year will be better.
yeah. The business climate right now is kind of up and down and all over the
Mhm.
place.
Yeah. Hmm.
The next
Yeah,
few years will be telling, I think.
I
We
think so
have
as
some
well.
interesting things in store for us, and AI, of course, is at the forefront of all of that. Um,
Exactly.
and what
Exactly.
that looks like for different businesses and how that shifts and changes the landscape of the way businesses, move
Mhm.
forward from that is going to be really,
Mhm.
really interesting.
It's going to be extremely interesting. And also too, my daughter's in college. She's a sophomore. And what does it look like for her coming out of college? Like her and I are starting to talk about that because what does that look like for that group of generations?
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
very much a question mark to me right now. Now that I have someone that's close to in 2 years, what should she be focused on too? So
Yeah.
that's at the top of my mind lately too. So
Well, and as it should be, I mean, our future is a
mhm.
bit uncertain right now, and
Yep.
certainly jobs come into play.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
just what's going to be available, and it's going to change
Mhm.
fast. So by the
Yep.
time she is done, it will be very
Correct.
different, I think.
Yep. So yeah, so be, with tech and all this stuff going on, it'll be interesting to see how fast my old brain can learn. Like trying to learn this and do everything else has been a journey as well. So
Very
Hmm.
cool. I just
Hmm.
can't wait to see. I cannot wait to see your book when it comes out.
I know.
And I'm
I know.
excited to see this transformation with Mornings with Mindee. I think that's just been an incredible success. I'm so, so excited for you. So
Thank
tell
you.
me a little bit. You've got to share some insight for our aspiring leaders out there. Is there
Okay.
anything that you know now that you wish you had known then? You touched a little bit on some things, but
Mhm.
what's some advice you
Mhm.
could give to an aspiring leader out there?
I would say that confidence is not by the things you do. I think that there's no right way to be a leader as long as you are staying true to yourself, you're being authentic. Um, because when you start thinking you need to be a certain way, comparing, it'll slow you down. So know your values, know what you're good at, and leadership is not, again, I looked for it, like what's the right way to be a leader? There isn't a right way to be a leader. It's just really choosing your values and leading with that.
Such great advice.
That's what I wish
Such
I would have
great
known.
advice. Yeah. Well, and building that foundation, because that's what
Mhm.
comes into play is someone was talking recently about just knowing yourself and, and
Mhm.
leaning on yourself and your strengths
Mhm.
and knowing who you
Mhm.
are and the
Yes.
business person you are and holding true to yourself.
Hmm. Yep.
So beautiful. Oh, Mindee, thank you so much for being here
Uh,
today. You've got so much good stuff in store. I'm probably going to have you back maybe in the fall
I'd
or
love
something,
to.
touch base again and see how things are going and how this incredible year ended up unfolding for you and for MyTech. It's so much. I'm so excited.
Well, thank you. It's so fun talking to you because you just put things in perspective. It's just fun talking to you. I'm just
Oh,
glad to be.
thanks. Well,
Hmm.
I'm glad to hear that. That's really exciting.
Yes. I love it. I love talking to you.
Thank you. And I love talking to you. We should do this more often.
We should come back from wherever you are. Come back to Minnesota. We'll
I
get
will.
together
I
more
will. I
often.
will. In
I
the
know.
meantime, I'm working on this online community, so I'll let you know how that
I
goes
love
too.
it.
But
Keep doing what you're doing. It's
thank
needed.
you.
Hmm. You're
Awesome.
welcome.
Well, thank you for being here. I'm so excited, and we'll talk again really soon.
Take care.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Savvy Leader Podcast. Be sure to check the description below for any links or resources we mentioned today. And for even more inspiration and tools to help you on your own leadership journey, come on over and join the conversation in the Savvy Leaders Lounge. That's savvyleaderslounge.com, and we'll see you next time.